Yeah, we made a couple copies of, and we sold on tour or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like you guys kind of understand the importance of kind of having material ready. You know, I've heard you guys talk about well, loosely. I was watching the bad copy Zoom that you guys did.
Yeah.
There was like a loose joke in there about like Facebook groups, like ska Facebook groups. and damn,
Here we go.
yeah, no, trust me, I'd have my quarrels with them too. I'm not even gonna go.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is one of the funniest things that I always find when the fools in there go on tangents is they just don't understand marketing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But
I don't understand a lot.
It's huge, man. It's huge. It's like if you're a band, like you want people to hear your music. Like it's not cool to be all punk about it. Be like, well, we did this track, like whatever. Here it is. Like that's not cool. You want people to hear it. Like we work hard on it. You know, it's important to market yourself. Whether that's like just like working with cool artists and like paying them what they deserve to be paid, and like or like you know. Just coming up with a plan and all like getting on the same page about it. Like it's important, you know, you want people to take your music seriously. Like we put a lot of work into it. We put a lot of heart into it. Like you want people to hear it. So it makes sense to just think about it, you know, like another wise man once said,
Think about it.
dropping all the,
there was some sort of like break in 2015. You said you guys took a year off.
Whereabouts, I'd say, yeah. I mean, that was Mike had moved to California by that time, and yeah, I mean, it was a big change for us. Obviously, not all being together, because up to that point we were rehearsing regularly, and we'd get together and hang out outside of band practice too. So we were all fairly close, and I think that downtime just gave us enough room to kind of consider what we wanted to do with the band and how we wanted to continue, if we wanted to continue. It was good. I think it was good because also at that time I felt like we were kind of stagnating. Like we were playing the same shows and the same set. We needed some sort of catalyst, and Mike moving away was that.
Yeah,
it did a lot more good, I think. I mean, I didn't expect it to, and I don't know if all of us expected the band to keep going, but I think after being apart from it for a little while and being apart from each other, it just like made me want to do it even more.
Right.
So we kind of just, we all talked about our priorities, and we all got on the same page and just hit it harder than ever before. You know, I think like in 2017, 2018, we did some of the best tours, best shows, last year too, I mean, that we've ever done. Now to the point where like I used to worry, every time we hit another city, or like I'd worry about the show, be like, oh, who's going to show up? Or even in DC, I'd be like, nobody's going to show up tonight. And, knock on wood, and doesn't matter now, but like we haven't had a bad show in a very long time, which I'm very thankful for. So like, we've been really lucky the past couple of years. We've been hitting it hard, and people have been coming out.
Yeah, it's been steady incline in show quality, I feel like, which, I guess that's, I don't know, I guess that's a testament to maybe fan dedication. Maybe they just, since they saw we stopped and we like kind of made like an announcement out of it, saying we weren't going to be doing things for a while. And then, I mean, we didn't for a good amount of time. And when we came back, I think people were like, I think that made people take notice. Maybe it's like, maybe it's kind of a limited amount of time they had to see us. But it made a difference.
Was it like 2 weeks ago? You guys dropped the the announcement for the skydiving?
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Everybody was reposting that, man. I mean, so it's like you guys went from, according to you guys would have bad shows in your own local towns, and now, I mean, there's people talking about you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, on the SKA CAST page, I follow another page in Mexico, and all the time they're like another podcast from Mexico. Do you guys know? It's called Rudiger. I don't know.
I've definitely seen it.
Yeah. On like his playlist, and
hell yeah.
That's
right.
I'm saying, so it's like people don't know about Kill Lincoln.
Yeah, and it's wild to me. Like I still like when people are like reposting it or like saying like, oh yeah, I know your band. It's still like, to me, I'm like, you're lying. Like, what are you talking about? It doesn't feel real to me. I think one of the big things we noticed too, like after we broke up, and I think we did we had the intentions of like maybe not playing together again, but like we noticed like the EP we put out, which we kind of put out and then took our break, like it got like pretty popular. Like a lot of people were listening to it, a lot of people were talking about it. So we had this like, even though we stopped playing shows for a little while, like the momentum like kept moving, and that also kind of pushed us back into like working at it again, so that was kind of crazy to see. It just kind of took off on its own for a little while, which was wild.
Yeah. And another thing, with that album, that's when you guys also dropped the video, right, for the same title track.
Yeah, we shot that video right near my apartment in DC. It was like a perfect snowy day. Like it turned out to be awesome. Drew brought a bag of meat with him. It was great. We had a good time.
It was a party.
Yeah. I mean, I was just gonna say, like, so you guys dropped that video and then you guys went on your break, and by the time you were back, you're saying there was all this buzz behind it, right? Mm-hmm. Would you maybe credit that to how you guys have been dropping online content? Like, for example, that video itself, it might have just been, you know, your guys' band members skanking in the snow, but you know, that shit's fun. You know, like, it's fun to watch. Obviously, it has like over 10,000 views or more than that, I'm sure, right?
It's got a lot.
More than that.
I don't know where it's at. But
we're more than that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you know, like, the whole visual thing, I feel like a lot of ska bands even today are probably barely catching up to it, because you know, to reach a fan base, I think viably you need to have some type of visual. People need to see you. You know, would you guys credit any of the buzz like to the accessibility? Because, you know, not everybody that listens to music knows about Bandcamp. Not everybody that listens to music has Spotify. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of people don't pay for that shit, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get Apple Music. They just look shit up on YouTube all day, you know?
Yeah. No, you gotta have your music everywhere. Like, you gotta make it as accessible as you can, you know? There's no excuse not to.
And I think that became like a big point for us. It was like, you know, we had to be more active online with Facebook and Instagram, certainly, you know, within the last couple of years. But we from that point on, it was just like, you had to do it if you wanted to reach people. Like, that's the way to do it.
I think
which is interesting.
I think a really big component too is, you know, just getting to start to play some bigger shows and festivals. Do you guys remember when we first played Fest? It was probably like 2013-ish.
Yep.
And we played it 3 years in a row after the first time we played, from the time that we first played, we played 3 years in a row, and felt like we were kind of building our crowds each time there. So I think just being able to play for more of an international audience, an audience of people that are all converging on one spot, certainly helped.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, playing the Fest was huge. And that first Fest we played, it was a little room, but it was like packed. They put us on they gave us like the 12:30, 1 a.m. time slot, and everybody was just having a great time. Like, that was a big, that was another big moment for the band for sure. And just to go back to something else you mentioned, man, because I don't want to gloss over it, but you were talking about like the visual elements and I think like, a lot of younger ska bands like don't put enough effort into their visuals and into their art and into the way they present themselves. Like, you just got to take, you know, again, like putting thought into it. And I talk to these guys all the time about assets. We need assets, you know? Well, you got to keep making content. You got to keep like making it interesting. You want to make it fun for people, and you want to, like, you know, also stay true to who the band is. And the way we are now, like, since we're not playing shows, especially, the only way people can reach us is through our social media and through our YouTube channel and through all that shit. So you want to make sure that it's really presenting like who the band is, and like you're getting the full spirit and nature of the band through all your art and all that shit.
Right. Yeah, I think also another thing, like, to just kind of follow up on that, I think there's a disconnect. I think honestly, a lot of especially people that are probably just putting out songs, I think honestly they probably are just so in their mind that they just really think that people are going to listen to the audio and just be like, holy shit, this is fucking like Nas Illmatic, like, you know, like listen to this open, you know?
Yeah.
That's not really realistic though, you know, like people.
Well, because everybody's doing it. Everyone's got a hot track, right? Like, it's so easy to make. So like, what are you gonna do to stand out? You know, you gotta have your hype man jump out of a plane. You know, like that's what we were thinking. It's like, you gotta do something crazy just to get people's attention, because you want them to listen to the music, but like, you know, you gotta get their attention first. Right. It's just the nature of things.
Yeah, I mean, look, gladly, I'm seeing a lot of bands do videos now. I mean, shit, almost every day, a ska band drops a video.
Yeah.
People with it. So it's like.
Speaking of which, tomorrow we got a new video coming out.
Oh, shit.
Surprise.
New track off Can't Complain. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Hell yeah. All right. So walk me through this new album. I mean, obviously you guys are all away from each other. Did you guys record it together, or was that like a thing where you guys are sending tracks back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, we fortunately we were able to all get together at the kind of at the breaking point of the pandemic. We had our time booked pretty well in advance, and we were all just going to go out there. It's like third week of March, I think. And
I got there March 13th.
Yeah, so about midway through March, and
we all recorded in California.
In San Jose.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Cool.
So and I mean, we had been writing these songs for like, I don't know, like up to like 2 years before that. And that was all kind of happening remotely. And there was like a weekend where Food came out to California in 2019, I guess. And we kind of like worked on the songs and fleshed them out and made some demos. But then, we were able to all get together and do it the right way. I think, like, I mean, there's tons of ways to record stuff, right? But like, I feel like there's something special about getting everybody together and kind of like, you know, having a group experience out of it. And luckily we got it done like literally right before shit got really bad. I feel like with the pandemic, it was like on the cusp to the point where we were like, you know, we were like literally in the studio. It was like day 4 or something when they announced the shelter in place in California. And we were like, shit, like, what do we do? Like, are they going to cancel flights? Are we going to be able to get into the studio? Luckily, the engineer who we worked with, Ryan, was super cool. He was like, listen, we're all locked in here together anyway. Like, we're not exposed to anybody. Let's just keep going. If you guys are cool with it, I'm cool with it. So we said, yeah. So we just finished it off. And, you know, we were at home. We went to the studio. We went back. It was like, it kind of just helped focus us, really. Like, that was all we could focus on was just recording. So
yeah, it did help. It was definitely a countdown, but I felt like with that pressure, it kind of forced us to be more on our game.
Yeah.
And with whatever creative points we had to have in the studio, I think that made that a lot more special, that kind of crunch time.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Was there any type of like rushing that went into that once the stay-at-home order kind of went into effect, or?
We had a plan, right? So we were like, well, first 3 days we're doing drums, and we kind of like Tyler went in and he just nailed this shit. Like you were on it, and after you were done, like you pieced out, like you went home, and that was like cool. Like, but I don't think we rushed through it. I think you just like kind of nailed it. There wasn't any kind of special pressure or anything like that. At least I didn't feel it. Maybe you did.
No, I did. I changed my flight and left once my parts were done. I was originally planning to stay for the whole thing, but I was still committed to getting the parts done right, and only after we really fully tracked all the drums did I go change everything.
And I think like there was just like an anxiousness about just like the state of the world. It wasn't an anxiousness about getting the record done.
Yeah.
Like we were there, and like we knew it was gonna get done if we had, if we when we decided to keep going and finish it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was just like a general anxiety about like what was happening outside the studio. But inside the studio, we had like, it was a good vibe, we were kind of shielded from that for a week, which was really nice.
Right. Yeah. I think too, just not having recorded for so long and having had these tunes for a while, we were just ready to do work on them,
Yeah.
Like I know the 3 and 4 of us in DC, counting CJ, he was still in DC at the time. We were all getting together regularly and really fleshing out these tunes and getting our parts down. So I know that kept us like very work focused. We were just, we were solid, and we just wanted to get it. We wanted to get it done,
Yeah.
But it wasn't like the quarantine forcing us to get it done. We were just like so enthused and ready to work on it that it happened.
I think the nature of the way we were going to record too, like since we were all one way or the other, like some of us were going to have to travel to do this recording, and when you're planning travel, you're booking studio time, like you can't just be like, oh well, maybe it'll take 2 weeks, maybe it'll take 3 weeks, like no, like we had a plan like a year in advance. We were like it's going to take 7 days and then we're done, like that was always the plan. And we everybody worked their asses off, like getting ready, like practicing, like, working on parts, like you were saying, Food, like, so we really came in prepared. Like there wasn't a lot of bullshit in the studio. Like we knew, like we were on the clock, like without pandemic, like
really?
We knew that like time was finite. So we were ready for that.
Hey, listen, that's really commendable. Honestly, most bands would probably take the whole stay-at-home thing and be like, fuck, something, and then they'll probably go home, They probably wouldn't even go through the whole recording shit. But
yeah.
Fucking commendable that you guys even did so, because I imagine you guys were fucking relieved, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, even after the first day for me, I was like, all right, it's happening. here we go.
Yeah.
It just felt good. It was a good feeling to be able to get all that down. And